What if your next flight needed to land on a frozen ocean? Or thread through mountains so tight that even the autopilot gives up? Imagine flying so low over a beach that people duck for cover, or touching down on a runway that disappears underwater twice a day. In Scotland, some planes land directly on sand, but only when the tide allows it. And in one shocking case, a plane even landed on a road while cars were still driving on it. These aren't scenes from a movie. They are real airports where pilots don't just fly, they perform. Some runways feel more like movie stunts than safe travel destinations. From deadly turns over crowded cities to blind descents through icy valleys, these places push both man and machine to the limit. Today, we're taking you straight into the most dangerous airports in the world, each one riskier than the last. Let's dive in. Lukla Airport, Tenzing Hillary, Nepal. Lukla Airport is one of the scariest airports in the world. It sits high in the Himalayas, about 9,334 feet above sea level. The runway is very short, only 527 meters. One end has a stone wall, and the other drops into a deep valley. This means there's no second chance. If you approach, you must land. There's no space to turn back. Only small twin-engine planes and helicopters fly here, mostly carrying mountain climbers heading to Mount Everest. The airport was built in the 1960s under the guidance of Sir Edmund Hillary after his climb. It is named after him and his Sherpa partner, Tenzing Norgay. The weather is very harsh. Strong winds, fog, and sudden storms often cause delays or flight cancellations. Many crashes have happened. In 2008, a Yeti Airlines flight crashed and caught fire, killing 18 people. In 2019, another plane hit a parked helicopter and killed 3 people. Courchevel Airport, France. Courchevel Airport is high in the snowy French Alps at 6,588 feet above sea level. It was built for ski lovers, but it's one of the hardest airports to land at. The runway is only 537 meters long and has a very steep slope of 18.5%, one of the steepest in the world. The slope helps planes stop quickly but makes takeoff harder since it starts uphill. There are no lights, no radio landing aid, and no space for mistakes. Pilots must rely only on their eyes and flying skills. Weather in the Alps changes fast. Fog and snowstorms can reduce visibility quickly. If the plane comes in at the wrong angle, it may slide off or crash into cliffs. The airport appeared in the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies, showing a plane taking off from a snowy ramp, very close to real life. Only specially trained mountain pilots fly here. It's used by private planes and helicopters, not commercial airlines. Paro International Airport, Bhutan. Paro Airport is the only international airport in Bhutan, and landing here is not for regular pilots. It's located deep in a valley surrounded by mountains as high as 18,000 feet. The runway is just 1,980 meters long and there are no automated systems like radar or ILS, instrument landing system. Pilots must land completely by visual navigation. Because the terrain is so tight, pilots must make sharp turns through the mountains and descend quickly into the valley. The aircraft often passes just meters over rooftops and trees before touching down. This makes it extremely risky. There are only about 20 pilots in the entire world who are licensed to land here. These pilots fly for Drukair and Bhutan Airlines. All flights in and out of Paro are limited to daylight hours and good weather. Despite the danger, Paro handles thousands of tourists every year, especially those visiting Buddhist monasteries and Himalayan hiking trails. Madiraa Airport, Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal. Madiraa Airport is built on the edge of a mountain by the Atlantic Ocean on the Portuguese island of Madeira. The original runway was only 1,600 meters, but after a deadly accident in 1977, it was extended to 2,781 meters by building a platform supported by 180 concrete columns above the sea. This makes it look like the plane is landing on a giant bridge. Strong winds from the ocean and mountains make landings unpredictable. Crosswinds are especially dangerous here. In 1977, a TAP Portugal flight overshot the short runway in rainy weather and crashed onto a nearby beach, killing 131 people. That crash led to massive upgrades at the airport. Even today, pilots need special training to land here. The runway starts just meters from ocean cliffs and ends close to city buildings, giving little room for mistakes. Despite all this, the airport is modern and handles over 3 million passengers a year. Princess Juliana International Airport, SXM, St. Martin. This airport looks more like a beach stunt than a real landing. Planes fly just 10 to 20 meters above people lying on Maho Beach before hitting the short runway. The scene is dramatic, aircraft zoom in low, and beachgoers can feel the wind from the engines. The runway is only 2,300 meters long and is surrounded by water on both ends, leaving little margin for error. Pilots must control their speed and height exactly. If they come in too low, they risk hitting the airport fence or beach crowd. If they come in too high, they might not stop in time. In 2017, a woman watching a takeoff was killed when jet blast threw her backward into concrete. Many signs now warn tourists, but people still gather to film landings and takeoffs. The airport is one of the most photographed and watched on YouTube. Congonhas Airport, Sejich, São Paulo, Brazil. Congonhas Airport sits right in the heart of one of the most crowded cities in the world, São Paulo. Tall buildings, highways, and homes surround the airport, making the landing feel like threading a needle. It feels like you're flying between skyscrapers, with no space to slow down if anything goes wrong. The main problem at Congonhas is its short runway and wet weather. The runway is just under 2,000 meters, and during rain, it becomes very slippery. In July 2007, TM Airlines Flight 3054 landed during a rainstorm, but the plane couldn't stop. It slid off the runway, crossed a busy road, hit a warehouse, and exploded. All 187 people on board and 12 people on the ground were killed. It was one of the deadliest crashes in Brazil's history. After the crash, the government added grooves to the runway to help water drain better. But the airport's location in a packed city still makes it risky. McMurdo Station Ice Runway, Antarctica. The McMurdo Station Ice Runway is unlike any other airport in the world. Located in Antarctica, this is not a normal paved runway, it's made entirely of frozen sea ice. Each year, a new runway is created by packing down the ice until it's flat enough to land on. Big military cargo planes like the C-17 Globemaster III regularly land here, bringing food, fuel, scientists, and supplies to the research base. The ice is about 3 to 4 meters thick, but that doesn't guarantee safety. If the ice cracks, shifts, or starts melting, the runway disappears. There are no runway lights, no radio towers, and barely any landmarks. Pilots often land in whiteout conditions, where everything looks the same, just snow and sky. This is a vital lifeline for researchers living in Antarctica. Landings are only done during the summer season, October to February, when temperatures are still freezing, but daylight lasts 24 hours. Angati Aeradrome, Lakshadweep, India. Angati Airport serves the peaceful but remote Lakshadweep Islands in the Indian Ocean. But landing here is risky. The runway is built on a narrow strip of land surrounded by deep water. From above, it looks like a road floating in the sea. The runway is only 1,200 meters long, making it one of the shortest in India. Only small aircraft like the ATR-72 can land here. Strong crosswinds from the open ocean make landings shaky, and there's no space for mistakes. If a plane comes in too fast or too low, it could end up in the sea. There were plans to extend the runway by linking it to a nearby island, but they were cancelled to protect the coral reefs and marine life. Angati Airport is still very important. Without it, it would be hard to send supplies, help in emergencies, or bring tourists to the islands from mainland India. Tongontin International Airport, Tiju, Honduras. Tongontin Airport is located just a few kilometers from downtown Tegucigalpa, the capital of Honduras. What makes this airport so dangerous is its tight location in a valley surrounded by steep mountains, combined with a short runway of just 1,863 meters. To land here, pilots have to make a sudden 45-degree turn at low altitude, passing over houses, roads, and buildings before quickly aligning with the runway. This tricky approach becomes even more dangerous during bad weather. Strong winds, fog, and poor visibility make it hard to control the plane during descent. Several accidents have happened here, but the most serious was in 2008. A Taka Airlines Airbus A320 couldn't stop after landing and crashed into a road, killing 5 people, including 2 on the ground. Because of ongoing safety concerns, international flights were moved in 2021 to the newly built Paro International Airport, which is much safer. However, Tongontin still operates domestic flights and small aircraft. Barra Airport, Barra, Scotland. Barra Airport is one of the most unique and risky airports in the world, because it's built right on a beach. Located on a small island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, the airport has no tarmac or concrete runways. Instead, planes land directly on the sand. The runway is only usable when the tide is low. Once the sea comes in, the landing area disappears underwater. The airport has 3 marked landing strips, but pilots still rely heavily on visual judgment. There are no lights, no radar systems, and landings only happen in daylight. Aircraft used here are usually small twin otters that fly to and from Glasgow. What adds to the danger is the unpredictable weather. Strong coastal winds and rain are common. During landings, pilots have to avoid sea spray, birds, and sometimes even people or cars on the beach. Despite the risks, the airport is a vital link for the local community. Gustav III Airport, SBH, St. Barthélemy. Gustav III Airport, also called Street Barts Airport, is located on a small Caribbean island known for luxury vacations, but the landing here is anything but relaxing. The runway is only 646 meters long and begins just after a steep hill. Planes must dive sharply down over a busy road, flying extremely close to cars and people before quickly landing. There is no space for go-arounds or slow descents. On the other end of the runway, there's a beach. If a plane comes in too fast, it could overrun the runway and end up in the ocean or crash into sunbathers. Only small aircraft like the Cessna Caravan are allowed here, and pilots must go through special certification training to land safely. This airport is often featured in viral videos and aviation shows for how close planes get to roads, buildings, and beaches. From the ground, it looks more like a movie stunt than a real landing.